LPT Request. How do you stop getting snail mail for other people? I live in a house that I'm pretty sure used to be a halfway house. I get mail for about 30-50 different people that don't live here. I've sent them back RTS. I've talked with my mail carrier. I've put up a big sign saying that only last name lives here. I've filed a change of address form multiple times. Nothing that I do seems to help. Should I start reaching out to these people? I'm just at a loss. This has been going on for years. My mail carrier doesn't even know what to do. Edit. Here are some notes that I've taken from all of the responses. Meet the postmaster, tell them the situation and ask to be added to holdouts. Have them fill out a MLNA moved left no address form for each person. Bring cookies. Ask them for a sticker with a UPC code that indicated the designated mail recipients at the house. A red delivery alert card. More acronyms to try since RTS hasn't made it stop ANK not a BA. App to try. If it has a return envelope, stuff it inside and write NFA no forwarding address on there. This one might be illegal. Reach out to those organizations sending you mail and inform them that they are sending mail to the wrong address. Return to sender RTS doesn't work for third-class mail pre-sorted standard and nonprofit without any service requested endorsements. Those can be thrown away since they do not bear return postage. Extreme solution: have all of your mail go to a P.O. box. Since the name has to match what is on the address, some people have said that this last one doesn't work. I was getting mail from one person for several years. Someone who used to live in the house. I was sure they were still using our address since it was stuff like IRS notifications. I finally went to my post office and spoke with the local postmaster, and they said that they would take care of it. The mail finally stopped. For the most part, at least, I still get the occasional thing. But it's now one of twice a year instead of 2 or 3 things a day. You've already spoken to your carrier. I would expect that they should be able to talk to superiors at their location, so may it won't be the same for you. We purchased our home in 2019. The previous owner had rented our house prior to selling. The tenants were receiving mail at the mailbox for the address. I've been fighting for the last 4 years to get them to stop giving us their mail. I have tried RTS. I have stockpiled mail, brought it down to the post office, asked the postmaster if they could stop it. They said yes. Still nothing. Finally, one of the post office delivery drivers suggested not at this address. This has slowed down the traffic of their mail down exponentially. I'm not saying it will work for everyone, but worth a shot. Also had a similar issue. Am in Europe, so could solve most by contacting the GDPR contact person of the big companies. Sending letters back even to taxes. Banks. Didn't work. Writing mail to GDPR person: hey, you are breaking privacy laws by mailing me information about this person. Did get their attention and even feedback why it happened and that they solved it. I live in basically a boarding house and we've had people come and go. We still get mail for people none of us have even heard of. Pretty sure at least one person has their car registered at our address because we get their toll fee tickets, and some others we still get their IRS documents sometimes. Every so often we get mail for one Mr. John Lennon. It's always a fun day seeing that. It's always spam too. Like someone signed us up for junk mail under that name as a prank. I had that problem for over a decade at my old address. I moved 2 years ago and have not had the problem at all at my new address. Sometimes pieces of mail for previous residents will show up in my informed delivery emails, but they never get physically delivered. From this, I believe it has to be the responsibility of either the carrier or the management of the local post office. My mail carrier doesn't even know what to do. What do you mean? That's entirely on them for delivering to a name not on your mailbox. Especially when you've made it clear nobody else is at that address. They're the best position to make it clear to the distribution center to stop giving them the wrong mail for that address. For the first 2 years in my house I wrote no longer at this address. Years 2-4 I wrote incarcerated. And from 4 I wrote deceased. I don't get their mail anymore. I did track her down when she had concert tickets delivered to my house though. Go talk to the postmaster. They take their job seriously and are very accessible. Mark each one ANK attempted not known. Then put it back in the box for your carrier. It'll take some time, but it will help. Also, having your name displayed on your box so the carrier can see it will help them. Check in the stamp area. Anything marked standard, STD, or marketing is junk to be thrown away. Returning first-class mail will help reduce the amount you get for others. Source postal carrier. I get other people's mail in my P.O. box all the time. Semi-related, but this is a hidden downside of naming your kid after yourself. My BF has the same name as his dad and brothers. And we briefly lived with his father when we moved to his home state before we found an apartment. Spent about 2 months there like 5 years ago. Since then we have received his dad's mail non-stop. He's informed the carrier. Doesn't seem to matter. Mostly collections trying to get a debt out of him his dad owes. They call constantly too. We even moved states again. And it's still followed us. Also fun little bonus. We can't stay at any hotels in his hometown because they all banned his brother of the same name. Can confirm with the cookie trick. We feed our local mail lady cookies. And she would happily move heaven and hell for us if we needed help with something like this. Use the code ANK. It stands for address not known, meaning that the person to whom the mail is addressed no longer resides there. I've used it for the past few months and no longer receive mail for previous owners' tenants. You can read more about helpful USPS acronyms on their website. I feel you. I've tried all the things you mention. To no avail. Moved into our place 20 years, still get mail for a former resident who hasn't been here since the 80s. Some cruise company keeps sending giant brochures. These pamphlets are the size of small yearbooks. And we get them delivered to her for 20 years. Aggravating. Kind of. But I just drop it in the trash before I even go back inside the house. Mailbox is by the road. Bugs Bunny style. You should be able to give the postal carrier a list of people that live at the address and all other mail should be returned. I run a sober living home and this is exactly what we do. We get all sorts of stuff for the previous owner of our house. RTS didn't work. NFA didn't work. Finally we started sending glitter letters with the additional notice that the wife died 9 years ago. And the husband had moved to the Philippines. The IRS was not happy with the glitter letters. But they did stop sending notices to us in his name. Then we got audited. Oh joy, we did get $8,000 in additional return that year. My mail carrier got me a sticker with a UPC code that indicated the designated mail recipients at my house that I just stuck on the mailbox. It mostly worked. I don't remember having to order it. I think he just got it for me. Get a stamp kit. You can buy one preloaded with whatever you want to say. Or make your own with the alphabet letters kits from your local crafting store. I had this problem for years at my place as well. I used to write not at this address on the envelope and shoved it into the slot. Then I started writing deceased. And eventually the mail quit coming. Did it make a difference? Who knows? But my wife and I got a chuckle every time we did it. Get an app called Paper Karma and add every piece of mail to it.